Hi, hope you're well. It's been a couple of weeks since we chatted, but it's been busy a couple of weeks. It was half term here in the UK last week, so I had a lovely week off with my daughter. It's Tuesday today. She also had a day off yesterday because it was a teacher training day, so we got an extra day together. And I'm quite surprised how much knitting I've got done. But first of all, my name is Pirja. I'm originally from Finland and I've lived in the UK for nearly 30 years now, and I've lived in Lincoln since 2007 and absolutely love Lincoln. I've got a little shop here where I sell gifts, crafts and handmade goods on behalf of other makers, as well as good quality second-hand items, both of which are very close to my heart. It's early on the Tuesday morning before I go to work for the first time in like a week and a half, because I've had a long half term off. I did go in last night. We had a chat and craft, which is a lovely group. It's a new group that I've started running. We have so much fun. We've been knitting the Stephen West mystery shawl knit along together. My first ever mystery knit along. I'm not really a shawl knitter either, and the first chat and craft I've ever hosted, and I've really enjoyed it. I have to say, I do occasionally forget that I'm the host and not an attendant, but we've had lots of fun. I got really inspired to knit the Stephen West mystery shawl knit along after visiting a yarn shop in Rotterdam called the Foundry Works, and the owner there she had just chosen her colours, and she was telling us how they were going to do a knit along together in the shop, and I got really inspired. I've always watched Stephen West's knit alongs from afar, but never knitted one, and some of them are quite out there, quite wacky, and I'm so happy that this is the first one I've ever knitted, because I have enjoyed it so much, and it's not too out there. It is really interesting to knit. It's really interesting to look at, and because I've been hosting my knit along, in-person knit along, I felt that I had to knit one ahead, so that I knew what the pattern was about, so I could really understand it, and then I would knit another one with the group. And the clues, the part of the pattern, there's 4 parts to the pattern, and each part is released on a Thursday, and our knit along is on a Monday. So I thought I will have from Thursday till Monday to knit on one, and then from Monday till Wednesday to knit on the second one, and it has worked quite well. I have managed to keep up just. Some parts have had a lot of knitting, but I have managed to keep up just. It has now finished. All clues are out. They came out the clue 4 came out last Thursday. And I have finished my first, not finished yet, because there's an optional wavy border which I have now decided to knit. So this is my number 1. Sorry, it's been scrunched up in my knitting bag since last night, and it might have been ever so slightly damp because I blocked it yesterday, so hopefully I should have took it out when I got home last night, but I have blocked it twice. It is so interesting, really interesting to knit. I chose Symphony Yarn's Terra in 4-ply, which Jackie, who sells yarn in my shop, who she stocks, so it was easy to get. It's really affordable, good quality merino yarn. It's got that hand dyed feel, but they I believe they're dyed in India for Nick Pro, who is Symphony Yarns. But yeah, it's been lovely to knit. Let me just show you the yarns. You were advised to buy 2 100 grams of each yarn, 2 hanks of, so 400 grams altogether, 200 grams of main colour and 200 grams of contrast colour. I haven't quite finished because I'm going to do the optional wavy border, but I haven't even used all of the contrast colour, but here the main colour, I've probably got 80 grams left, so I probably used 120 grams, and the contrast colour I probably used 95 grams, so there's still plenty left there. So I'm definitely going to do the wavy border, which is an optional extra to finish the shawl off. I have got probably more yarn left than you should have, because I knitted this on smaller needles than suggested. I think the suggested size was 3.5mm needle, but my gauge was a little bit big, so I couldn't quite get there with that size. It's a little bit dark. So I knitted this on 3mm needle. My favourite needles, Shawl 5-inch interchangeable needle tips, and this was a good length. I can't remember what the pattern said, but I think this is just over 1 meter length, so this was a nice length to knit it with. And the construction was so interesting, so interesting. We first knitted the semicircles, and then we joined them together, and then we put all the stitches, so this is the starting edge if you like, and then we joined all these half circles were joined together with these triangles, and then all the stitches on the end were joined together, and then we knitted some bubbles, and then we knitted some brioche, more bubbles, brioche, bubbles, and then these triangles on the edge to finish it off. And I never knitted full brioche, only half brioche, and I did find it quite difficult, and I had chosen I'll show you the back because you can see the mohair better on the back. So this is the brioche part here. I had chosen to use the mohair there for the brioche, and the first 3 rows of the brioche were so difficult to do because I couldn't quite understand how the stitches would stack up on top of each other and how it was working. So there's a fair few mistakes there, but I've fudged them as well as I could. This is the second. I knitted the brioche on the other shawl first. There's more mistakes in that one, so I definitely got better when I was knitting on this one after a bit of practice. But after the first 3 rows, it got much easier because you could see the stitches, you could actually see what you were doing. So if you're just about to start the brioche section, just get past the first 3 rows and it does get easier. And then we did some triangles and finished it with an I-cord border, and all the edges are finished with an I-cord border, and it really does finish it off beautifully. And then clue 4, which we sort of guessed, we picked up stitches from this from the half circles here and knitted up. We sort of guessed it because this edge hadn't been finished. It didn't have an I-cord, so we sort of guessed that we would be knitting up. But these are so beautiful. I think Stephen West called these mini bubbles. And then this is really interesting, this section. It's called triangles, but I think it's a bit of an optical illusion, because when you look at it, if you look at the triangles here, you can find them. But if you just glance at it, you see rectangles. So I don't know how I can't see what you're seeing from there, but I don't know whether you see triangles pointing down or rectangles going that way. But depending which way you're looking at it, it looks different. I was on holiday when I was knitting on this, and I started casting off after the second mini bubble section. I thought, this is a bit strange. I've got about 70 stitches ish. I didn't count them, I just eyeballed them, but I should have 7. Anyway, I just carried on casting off. And then I looked at someone else's picture and I realised that there were 3 bubble sections. So I unravelled the bind off and knitted the final, the second triangle section and the bubbles. And this part, it looks quite large, to be honest, when you look at it. From here to here, it knitted up so fast. I think it's because on every row you're decreasing, and then there's a couple of quite fast decrease rows, so you're knitting it and it gets smaller and smaller all the time. It was really interesting to knit. To be honest, I've enjoyed all the sections. I've learned some new techniques. The only part was these triangles on the bottom. They're supposed to be 39. I've got more than 39. I don't know how that happened. But anyway, you were knitting a maximum, I think it's 16 stitches in width, but mostly you were doing short rows, so you were turning it felt like you were turning all the time and you couldn't get your speed up. It sort of, this, I think I knitted this one for, what was it, the green one? But anyway, the first shawls, triangles on the bottom were fine. But after I'd done about 10 on the second one, I was thinking, oh my God, this will never end. But I got them all done. And yeah, I've got more triangles than the pattern suggests. Don't quite know how that happened. I've sort of gone back and forth on the colour on this shawl. I don't know if I love it or whether I will ever wear it, because it is so bright. I got sort of carried away with Stephen West's enthusiasm and colours, and I chose these colours, but I wish I had chosen more muted colours like the jumper I'm wearing today, because they're the colours I wear. But I thought I had it here, but I have got some dye that I'm thinking of over dyeing this with. I've got some navy Dylon hand dye that I'm really contemplating on dyeing this with, because I think if I dyed it navy, it would become lovely sort of purpley bluey colour. So and I think it will be more wearable for me, but I'm yet to decide. I'm going to a wavy border, which is about that much, because I've got plenty of yarn to do that with, and I think that will finish it off and bring it together with these stripes. I feel that it does need finishing off. I really wasn't sure yesterday, but now I'm pretty certain that I will do that. But while I had this blocking and I was deciding on the wavy border, I picked up the other shawl because I am crazy and I'm knitting 2 of these. So again, the second one is also knitted with Symphony Yarns Terra in 4-ply, and this is bigger and has used up more yarn, but my needle size is only 25 millimeters, quarter of a centimeter bigger, so 3.25 millimeter needles on this one, but it has used more yarn. Yeah, I'm well into the contrasting colour yarn. I did make some boo-boos. I did need knit some half circles to start with. This was the second set of half circles that I knitted, and I got far too cocky and knew what I was doing, and I knitted them wrong. I basically missed out quite a big increase row around, maybe it was row 23 or something like that. So these on semicircles. But I only realised that when I started joining these together that I didn't have enough stitches. So I have got a little bit of yarn used up there, but still I feel that this is bigger and it has used up more yarn, and the needle size is only 0.25 difference to the red one. But I will measure them when I finish them to see. It's quite interesting to see what a difference such a small needle size difference makes. I'm quite surprised. Again, I think this cable is a little bit shorter, I feel, but again, it works fine. I was going to use the same size for both shawls, to be honest, but I've only got one set of 5-inch tips, and my other set, they're 4-inch tips, and I don't enjoy knitting with them as much. I knit continental style, and I don't move the yarn, I move the needles, and I feel that I need a really good grip on my needles, and 5-inch is perfect. 4-inch is okay, but not as enjoyable as 5-inch. So that's why I'm knitting on two different sizes, because I thought that I would rather knit with the needle tip length that I prefer, and it didn't matter if it was 0.25 difference, but it has made a huge difference because this is much bigger. So here's the correct, let me see if I can hold that, semicircle. Here's the correct semicircle. Let me see, can I hold it? Oh, this is painful, I can't get it up. So there's a semicircle that is done correctly, and my attempt, as you can see, is nowhere near big enough. It's got the same amount of stripes, but it's not big enough. And I knitted all of those and started joining them together before I realised that I had done it wrong, but it didn't matter. Got there in the end. So this is my first, I was mostly knitting on this one first. I did swap it at times. So here's my brioche sections. There's quite a few mistakes on this one. This was my first full brioche attempt. And again, I added the mohair there. I had some camel's yarn baby surrey alpaca left from a cardigan, and this is just a delight. It looks very different to, I don't know if you can see it on the screen because I don't know if the sun's risen yet, it's quite dark, but this is sort of a cool turquoise, and this is very warm. I can't remember what the colourway was called, very warm green, but this, you probably can't see, but this, my contrast colour, it has got flecks of this colour in it, so I thought it would go, and I do feel that it has sort of toned it down a bit because these colours are so bright and wild, because I got completely carried away with Stephen West enthusiasm and chose these brighter colours than I would normally wear. But again, I have got Dylon hand dye in grey, in light grey, and I thought that might tone it down beautifully. It would just tone down these turquoise bits. So I'm attempting to do that. Again, I've got too many triangles on this one. I'm not entirely sure how it happened, but there's maybe 4 too many. But I just carried on until I got to the edge, and when I add the wavy border, I'll just need to do a little bit of maths. I just need to add a couple of repeats or see how that works. So I'm gonna work that out first, but I've only just sort of decided overnight that I'm definitely going to do that. I've just started the second section of mini bubbles. in, I'm holding the my contrast colour and my sorry alpaca together for those, so it gives a little halo here, and again I feel like it tones these cool turquoise colours down. I blocked this part, but then I picked up the stitches from here and started knitting, and my pickup edge here, it looks quite untidy, but it looks fine on the red one, so I think when I block it, it will settle, and the stitches that I've stretched to pick up the new stitches, they will go back in their place, which happened with the red one. And I've used the weaving Stephen method, so have I lost some stitches now? So I've got no ends to weaving at the end. That's brilliant. I'm definitely going to use that again. There might be the odd one where I've had too much counting or something to do. No, I think I've done them all. So there's no stitches left to weave in. Just a few bits to snip, because some ends I've left quite long, so when I block it, hoping that they won't pop to the right side. So after I've blocked it, I'll snip them a bit further. But all the ends are weaved in. This is the back, and this is the front. So again, yeah, I'm really pleased that this is the first Steam & West shawl I've knitted, because I have enjoyed it so much. I've really enjoyed it so much. Yeah, just another. There's one mini bobble repeat here. There's going to be another one, and then a final one, and then that part of it is done, and then I can start focusing on the wavy border. But I think, all being well, I will probably finish this tonight, because that last bit, it knits up really fast, because you're decreasing on every row, and then there's some bigger decrease rounds, and you end up with something like 7 stitches. So yeah, it's really enjoyable knit. Highly recommend it. I've been following a Facebook group on official Stephen West knit along group, and there's some amazing examples. It's been really fun to see what everyone's doing, and it's been so much fun doing it in person too. But because I've had these 2 big knits on the needles for the last 4 weeks, was it 4? Yeah, 3 and a bit weeks, I've hardly knitted anything else. It has been a lot of knitting, and it hasn't been just straight stockinette, which I can knit quite fast, and I am now craving straight stockinette, which I'll probably do some, but at the same time, I have enjoyed it so much. I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. And if you go down a needle size and don't do the wavy border, you can probably get away with just 1 ball of contrasting colour. But yeah, it's fabulous. And if these don't come out from my wardrobe in these colours, I will over dye them. And if they still don't come out, my sister, who I've just been on holiday with, she was like, I'll have them. I love shawls, because she's a certain age, with perimenopause, and she's got terrible hot flushes at the minute, and she said that would just be perfect. Put it on, whip it off, put it on, whip it off. So if they don't get wear in my house, I'll send them off to hers. But I've enjoyed every stitch so much. I've been on holiday with my dad as well. I knitted a pair of socks for my dad, which I haven't got here because I've given them to him. Last year, I don't know if I mentioned, my dad's sister and niece came over this time last year, and I was wearing my 4-ply socks. And my dad said to me, oh, I would love a pair of socks that fit in my shoes, because he's from Finland, I'm from Finland, and Finnish people traditionally knit socks in Aran weight yarn, in Navita Seven Brothers yarn, which are more like welly socks and house socks. So what I did, I knitted 3 pairs of socks for him for Christmas and posted them off. I posted them off 6 weeks before Christmas, and they didn't get there on time. But he got them between Christmas and New Year when he had to collect them from the post office. But I don't know if you ever clicked on my links below. Ravelry links on below. I keep extensive notes because I always think if I want to knit it again, or if someone else wants to have a look how it was knitted. Because that's what I do. I check what other people have written and how they knitted theirs. And I knitted him 3 pairs of socks, not a single note on any one of them. So I had no idea what I really wanted to know was how long I had knitted the foot. Because mine, I've got a pair on the go here so I can show you. These are his, but these are for me. On mine, I knit the foot, I'm UK size 6, European 39. I knit my, between toe and my heel, I knit it 50 rows. And I normally do 60 stitch. I normally cast, this is normally 60 stitches. I've started these ones toe up, but if I did them cuff down, I would do 60 stitch cast on. So I thought his foot will be bigger than mine. So I think I cast on 72 stitches. But then I thought, how long do I do this bit? I hadn't made any notes. I didn't know what his shoe size was. But when he got his socks last year, he said they were perfect. So what I did is I knitted the whole sock in broken rib, apart from the bottom of the foot, and that nearly killed me. It was so much ribbing. I didn't think they were ever gonna end, ever. But it was so lovely when he put them on and they fitted like a glove. I think it wasn't my necessarily my sizing, but the ribbing is so forgiving, so forgiving. I just finished them on the way to holiday, so I hadn't blocked them or anything, so they will mold to his foot. But then whilst on holiday, I just cast on a pair of socks. I knit my socks on 2mm fixed GoGo circulars. I've had these for a while and the needle tips are very, very bendy. I think I've sat on them several times. They've been stuffed in bags. I always tend to have a pair of socks in my bag wherever I go, just in case there's a couple of minutes to wait for something. So I just cast these ones on. I bought this yarn. This is what I do when I knit socks. I split a ball of yarn into 2 because I because I did 2 at the time, and I have knitted them so that I'm pulling one strand from the middle and one from the outside, but I get so tangled up because you have to be careful when you pull the strand from the outside, otherwise it wraps round the yarn that is coming from the inside. So you always have to have the ball in the right position, and if it's not, it gets so it gets wrapped around the other end of yarn. So what I tend to do, I weigh my yarn, split it into 2, pull both from the middle, just have them in the bag, and they never get twisted, because I don't go round and round on my work. I turn my work so they don't get twisted. This I bought from the Founder Works. This is the Shawl, not a Zauber ball. It says Admiral Hanf. Gorgeous yarn, absolutely beautiful. It's got ever such a slight striping, ever so slight, and I love it. But these were going to be my Christmas socks, my lacy Christmas socks, but I was on holiday, so I thought I will do toe-up socks and I'll just do some lace work on the cuff. My preferred heel to knit is Fish Lips Kiss Heel, because I don't need to look at the pattern anymore, I can just do it, so that's why I've done that one. But my preferred one to wear is a proper heel flap and gussets, but I very rarely do that because I need to look at the pattern for that. It's not memorized in my head. I really must start doing that. And then yesterday at Chat and Craft, while we were working on the Stephen West shawl, I had already had to pull back, where's my needles? I had already had to pull back my triangles up here twice. So I'm knitting this section for the third time. On the other one, I was fine. I had no problems. But on this one, my it's slip stitches what create them. They went out of sync. And now I'm looking at it, they look like all I can see is rectangles. But the triangles are there if you're looking out for them. Anyway, they have gone out of sync every time, so I had to pull it back to this stocking stitch section twice already. And I was trying to do it at Chat and Craft yesterday. I couldn't do it, so I started knitting on my socks. So I did quite a few rows because I think I did it from the heel turn upwards. I had planned to do lace work for that, but I wasn't going to sit at Chat and Craft and that craft, so I just carried on stockinette. So this will be my red stockinette socks for Christmas. But lovely yarn. This is quite a rustic yarn. I feel that it will be really hard wearing. Perfect. It'll be warmer than merino socks. I do find that merino socks, they look nice, they're nice to knit with, the yarn is nice and smooth, but they're not as warm. I'm wearing a pair now that are knitted in Wool Warehouse has got their own yarn range called Yarnsmiths merino sock, and I had this left over from a tank top I knitted, ribbed tank top. Oh, I might have knitted these socks first actually, but this is a lovely pattern, but there's too many stitches for my foot, and I'm finding that my heel felt on every single pair of these lace socks that I've knitted. So I need to work out to have 60 stitch lace work sock. I think this is 72, so it's just too big for me. But I'm not really prepared to go to a smaller needle than 2mm. I think that's small enough. I have got some smaller ones. I've got the tiny Chowku set. They're really like 1.75, and I think they start at 1.5mm, but I don't know, it doesn't appeal to me knitting on those. But anyway, so these will be laceless socks. Nice to have a little bit of stockinette for change. So this is my second pair of socks. I'm sort of my handbag socks, if you like. I've finished my dad's, onto mine, and I've also knitted a hat. I'm planning to start teaching learn how to knit workshop with my friend Debbie in the new year, and I saw this test knit. It's called Beginner's Welcome Hat by Curatorial Knits, who I follow and watch on YouTube, and I thought that would be perfect because it's a hat designed for beginners, and I wanted to see how it's laid out, how it's taught, and really enjoyed it. I knitted in some pink leftover yarn with mohair first, and I thought, this is coming out huge. Why is it coming so big? Anyway, carried on knitting, because you start bottom up and then you decrease for the crown. And when I started decreasing, because you have to count your stitches then, I hadn't counted them, I realised I had knitted 20, I had cast on 22 many stitches, because when I cast on, I always cast on 20, put a stitch marker on the needle, cast on another 20, because I feel that I can only count to 20. and then I have done one extra repeat of 20 stitches. So what I did, I just carried on knitting, cast it off and finished it off as a cowl. And then immediately after I cast on another one, and this is my leftover drops. It's in my leftover, there's still some leftover, but it's drops alpaca and drops mohair. 2 strands of drops alpaca and 1 strand of drops mohair held together. You start at the bottom with Sipila cast on, and then you knit 7, 8 or 9 inches, and then you decrease at the top. So it's really straightforward, 1 by 1 ribbing. So I have done a lot of ribbing recently, but this was because it was on bigger needles, bigger gauge. I think if you really went for it and knit it past your bedtime, you can probably do one in an, well, if you start with your morning coffee in the morning and then finish it off in the evening, I think you can do it in a day. So you can fold it and wear it like a beanie, and it fits. I think I knitted it 8 inches. If I did it again, I would probably knit it a little bit taller so that there's a little bit of space here. But I don't know if you can see the decreases. They are so beautiful, absolutely beautiful decreases. Or you can wear it slouchy, which I think is also works well. I might wear it slouchy. Very, very versatile, and she's also added children's sizes onto the pattern, so I'll definitely be knitting my daughter one as well. And it used hardly any yarn at all. I've put quite extensive notes on my Ravelry page again how much yarn I've used, because it's nice to know if you've got a limited amount of yarn. I think it's nice to know how much you will need for the decreases, so you can just knit until you need to decrease, and then you will have enough yarn left to decrease it. But yes, the very, very pretty decreases, and it's as pretty on the inside. So if you've got children or other halves or knit for other people as a gift, it really doesn't matter which way around they wear it. So I think that's a brilliant gift knit. I haven't blocked it yet, so I've just got my ends to trim, but I've weaved them in. So you could wear it either way around, and if you gift it to someone, they don't need to worry which way around to wear it, because it is so pretty both ways. Yeah, really enjoyable knit. I will be knitting some more. I've got quite a lot of leftover yarn here. I don't know if you can see into this cupboard, but I'll keep all my leftovers and messy bits in the bottom of my cupboard, and then all my sort of full sweater quantities ish in here. I've got I was going to knit this hat with Knitting for Olive, because I've never used this. I'm dying to use this. I bought this from the Foundry Works a couple of weeks ago, but I think I will knit a thinner hat with these, because I'll have enough, like a DK weight hat, because it's 4-ply and mohair, and for this one you would need 2 strands of 4-ply. So I'm going to save these two for a DK hat, because this is closer to Aran weight hat. But my yarn cupboard is full. I went mad shopping again in the previous drops sale, and I had just about knitted up all my yarn. Stocks up at the Foundry Works in Rotherham, and also at Drops sale. Drops have got a new sale on at the minute, and there's some lovely yarns that I will love in my stash. But I want to knit these ones up first, and then I will get some more yarn. I do like to make sure that I don't have any old stash hanging about. I want to use everything up I've got. Apart from these where I've got half a ball of something left, I will use them for colour work or mittens or socks or things like that. So I'm not too worried about having a few bits and bobs. I might finish them all and just knit a collarwork jumper. And I think that is everything. It's not quite cold enough to wear a hat yet, but I work in a small shop with the door open, and when you stand in there all day I do get cold, so I might treat myself and wear this hat today. But yeah, I'm working on finishing my shawls, and I've got a shawl test knit, which is all in garter stitch with I-cord edge, if I remember right. That's next on my list. And I also really want to knit the Sipila sweater by Petite Knit, and I have bought this lilac-y purple drop sleemer for that. And then I really want to put the Petite Knit original zipper into it. I've looked in many shops to find out if there's similar zippers, but I haven't found one, so I ordered this online from the knitting shop, maybe. And there isn't an exact colour match, but I think this is the best one. I've also got yarn that I could do it in sort of charcoal colour and beige. So, but this one, I think I will just use the dark, or like it's sort of greyish colour. I think they will go. It's got it's quite variegated, and again, it's got a lot of ribbing for the collar to start with. So those are the next things on my needles, but anything could happen, things could change. I've got some super chunky acrylic yarn as well. I felt it my daughter's favourite blanket, so I want to knit a new blanket, and I just got some Yarn Smiths super chunky to knit that with in acrylic yarn, so that I wouldn't felt it again. Yarn Smiths Create Super Chunky. It's recommended to knit with 10mm needles. Yeah, I haven't got 10s, but I've got 9s, so I'm planning to knit it on 9s, and hopefully that will give it more structure and hold it together better. And it is machine washable on cool wash, so that shouldn't felt. It's not as nice as wool, but hopefully it will be more durable. So I'm looking forward to starting that. I've got a free pattern I've been looking at for a couple of years now, so I'm hoping to knit it with that. Yeah, there's lots of things I want to knit. I managed to get my hands on some Drops Fable confetti. I don't think this one was in the sale, but this is a new Fable colourway, and just about every time I look in Wool Warehouse website, it's out of stock. But I managed to get some. My friend has knitted a pair of socks with it, and I think she did a swatch holding it together with mohair, and it knits up so beautifully. It is absolutely fantastic. So this is another option for Petite Knit Zipper Sweater Light, held together with mohair, because it's a DK weight pattern, or just a stockinette jumper or a cardigan. I've got quite a few cardigans now, and I feel that I might want to be knitting a jumper, but we'll see what comes out of that. So some really exciting yarns there that I'm dying to cast on. I sort of wish I had bought more of this to knit a pair of socks as well, because last time I looked it was out of stock again. So it seems to be much loved yarn. So yeah, looking forward to knitting with that. I have knitted with Drops, knitted a cardigan with Drops Fable held together before. I did not enjoy the experience knitting it or wearing it, but holding it together with mohair will be completely different. So yeah, really looking forward to more knitting, and I'm finishing the Steam and West shawls, and I'll chat to you next time. Bye.